Welcome back everyone to another Downward Day, and boy, I can assure you that today's video is going to be worth the watch because I am legitimately pissed off right now. And trust me, the new video is in production. I've been really trying to make it, but certain circumstances are kind of disrupting that from happening on schedule now. Cause boy, I was all nice and ready to record a nice little chunk of audio today. I get my water, I get my script ready, my computer pulled up, microphone plugged in, and what do I hear out of my window? And trust me, this experience is not exactly anything new for me. You see, there's been this neighbor by my house, multiple neighbors, actually. It seems like every single time someone new moves in next to where I live, they have another damn dog that they gotta leave outside so it can sit there and make noise for hours while I'm trying to record some nice barking-free audio. And just for the record, I'm not currently in my neighborhood right now. I drove to some random neighborhood just so I could get away from just the constant, incessant noise that these dogs are making. You see, I had to go to a place where I could clear my head, where I could listen to my own thoughts and not have it be constantly disrupted every 5 seconds by a loud, noise-making animal that my oh-so-wonderful neighbors have left outside unattended for the 17,000th day in a row. You see, I shouldn't be here right now. I shouldn't have had to drop everything and go record somewhere else, some unrelated video that's not even my main production focus right now. Oh, but here I am, some random neighborhood park near where I live because it's one of the few places I can actually go to not constantly be berated by dog noises. And even then, it's no guarantee by any means that I won't be hearing it. Because, at least as far as the United States of America is concerned, everyone has to have a dog, whether or not you can even reasonably train it or take care of it, or not leave it outside for hours on end to make noise. Continuous noise. No, everyone in this country has to have a goddamn slobbering, noise-making dog. And let me make this clear first and foremost, I am blaming the dog. Obviously, it's not the dog's fault if they grow up into an untrained, antisocial beast of burden. No, I'm well aware that the blame has to be placed squarely on the dog owner. And I've met plenty of perfectly fine dogs in my life. Good, well-trained, quiet dogs who don't spend hours on end aimlessly barking into the ether. I am well aware that dogs have the potential to be perfectly acceptable creatures to keep in your home. With potential, of course, being a very loaded term in this scenario. Because the way I see it, a majority, yes, I'd go that far, a majority of dog owners don't even put in the bare minimum effort to have the dog be anything more than a loud, obnoxious burden to be around. A creature that makes you physically uncomfortable to be within 1,000 feet of. Loud, aggressive, ornery, and dumb. 'Cause my God, are so many of these untrained, obnoxious dogs that people leave outside all day unequivocally dumb. It doesn't matter if there's anything around or nothing, you'll hear them. You'll make it known that they're agitated by something, whether or not it even exists in this plane of reality. You want to soak in some of this nice, natural ambience, this therapeutic, peaceful, calming sounds of the environment around you? I'm sorry, I've got news for you. You see, my dog is in my backyard, and I'm not home, so you're just gonna have to go do something else. I'm sorry if you value peace and serenity of nature, 'cause you're not gonna be getting that. 'Cause my dog has decided that it wants to make noise for 2 consecutive hours. Loud, high-pitched, ear-piercing noise that can be audible even inside your house with your windows shut in your recording studio that's designed to keep the sound out. No, you're not going to enjoy your afternoon. You're not going to have a peaceful recording session where you don't have to be constantly paranoid about your taste getting ruined by outside noise. You're not going to have any of that because I, as a very responsible dog owner, just leave my dog unattended in my yard for hours at a time, and I do it 5 days a week. How entitled of you to want to, listen to the sounds of the outdoor ambience without having these blood pressure spiking anxiety bursts from my dog piercing the air and assaulting your senses at all times. How naive of you to believe that my good boy pampered dog won't be a constant presence in your life, whether you want it to or not. Man, when I first moved in to my neighborhood, it was so nice. There was no dogs on the entire street. But slowly but surely, the houses began to fill in. Dog here, dog there, dog next door, dog behind me. They're surrounding me, man. I think it's the universe or God or whatever playing some cruel trick on me, making sure that I really don't enjoy my days and that working on my videos has to be as painstaking of a process as possible. Because wherever there's been an opportunity for a loud, obnoxious, untrained dog to appear near my place of residence, they sure as hell have entered my life. And lately it's gotten to the point where I'm literally refusing to tolerate it anymore. That's right, there's some exciting news for me. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily as exciting for the rest of you, but it's exciting for me because I'm moving. I can't take it anymore. Now, there's a long list of reasons of why I'm actually choosing to move somewhere else. But trust me, I swear to God, these damn untrained, unattended dogs have to be at the top of my list. They have to be. If you asked me to summarize why I'm moving in one singular reason, I would tell you that I can't stand being near these godforsaken animals for one moment longer. I just can't take it anymore, man. I can't. If I'm required to sit there and listen to these obnoxious creatures for one moment longer, I feel like I'm literally going to have a psychotic breakdown. And it's completely unfair how that's the case, because before these damn dogs moved in, I really, really enjoyed living where I was, and they had to take that away from me. These goddamn idiot owners who can't be bothered to shut their dog up for 2 hours. They've made it so that I no longer find any redeeming qualities of where I call home, and that I literally have to go through the time and expense of packing up to move someplace else, someplace which I'm hopefully confident in saying has less unattended dogs making noise at all hours of the day. I tell you what, man, my ultimate dream of what to spend my eventual totality of career earnings on YouTube, I'm going to move to a house on some 20-acre lot in the middle of nowhere, just so I can ensure that I don't have to hear these goddamn animals bark in my ear and disrupt my peace anymore. That is my all-encompassing goal at this point. It is my ultimate life's desire to be in a location where I no longer have to hear dogs. And god damn it, man, these stupid dog owners. They seemingly can't do anything wrong. It's never their fault. They always have some kind of excuse like, oh, he's a handful. Oh, I gotta work. Hey, newsflash, buddy. Were you required to get this dog? Was it out of some obligation to own this animal? Or no? Did you choose to go get it because of some nebulous, unassailable standard of the American dream where it feels like people in this country ought to have a dog, so you went out and got one? Like, honest to God, man, did someone put a gun to your head and force you to take on this animal? Because if they didn't, you ain't got any excuses. If you don't have the time of day to take care of these animals that require training to not end up being obnoxious, if you willingly took on one of these animals that you knew you wouldn't have the time of day to care for, then I hate to break it to you, buddy, but you ain't got excuses. You made the decision to take on that responsibility, not me. Oh boy, I sure am reaping the consequences of your stupid decision, but it was a decision you made. So don't you sit there and complain to me about how hard your life is when you made the voluntary decision to take on a loud 50-pound animal that can be heard from damn near a mile away. Oh, poor dog owners, man. Woe is you. Always some kind of excuse, some kind of bullshit reason of why you can't be bothered to train this animal into something that's actually acceptable to live around. Always an excuse. They got a bag of excuses deeper than the Pacific Ocean for why it's somehow not their fault that they can't take care of this loud, obnoxious animal. It's always somebody else's fault, and somebody else's responsibility to take care of this being that you agreed to take on. Oh man, if your life is so soul-suckingly depressing that you absolutely positively have to have a cuddly little animal to play with, guess what? Cats are nice. Cats are perfectly fine animals to have. And you know what else about them? They're quiet. They don't make noise that can be heard from a mile away. They don't make noise that can be heard by your neighbors 3 houses away with all their windows and doors shut. Get a cat. Get a bird. Get a fish. There are lots of other options for companionship, you know? And hey, if you got a bigger lot, you can even get a cow or a goat or a pig or a horse. All of these animals are perfectly acceptable. And guess what? They do not produce even a fraction of noise as your untrained, unspayed, unneutered, idiot dog does. Plenty of options, okay? Plenty of options for companionship. So I don't want to hear about the excuse how you absolutely, positively have to get a dog specifically, because you don't. Okay, maybe farm animals will sometimes make a little noise. But is it just me, or do I find that still significantly less obnoxious than the noise that comes out of 90% of dogs' mouths? I don't know, is it just me? Am I off base on this one? Or does even the sound of an 800-pound farm animal still pierce my ears less and give me less anxiety than listening to these dogs perpetually bark for hours on end with no resolution in sight? If you're asking me to make that call, I'm taking the farm animal every day of the week. Oh, and would you know? Would you look at that? It stopped making noise. What a radical concept that I guess some dog owners can't figure out. Animals are not naturally supposed to make noise constantly. There's supposed to be intervals of time where they stop and where the silence of nature is allowed to seep back in to your miserable life. They're not supposed to cry continuously for hours. This is something that uniquely applies to dogs. I'm sure that there's some other freak of nature in the Amazon jungle that also displays the same behavior of just constantly making noise all the time. Bark, 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 bark for hours. Hours until the idiot owner finally comes home and takes the damn dog inside where I can no longer hear it anymore. It is uniquely a dog problem to be constantly, continuously making loud, ear-piercing, anxiety-inducing noise. And at this point in the development of human civilization, I fail to understand how it's not literally illegal. If I stood outside your window with an air horn and sounded it off every 5 seconds for an hour, you'd throw me in jail. This is not acceptable human behavior. If I drove up in front of your house every day with my car and started honking it continuously for hours, you probably wouldn't see me there for very long, because someone or something would take me away, because they can't bear to listen to it. But oh boy, when the grating and hideous sound is coming out of a cuddly, cute animal, that all of a sudden makes it okay. You can park it outside for hours on end and let it sound off day after day, week after week, with no consequences whatsoever. This behavior that would be seen as psychotic in any other circumstance is somehow openly tolerated and accepted because it's coming from an oh so cute, cuddly good boy. I don't understand the people who can just sit there and soak it in without so much of a problem. How? How can you not find it to be incredibly obnoxious to the point where it disrupts your basic flow of thinking? But boy, I'll be a son of a gun because there's people who just sit there. They own the dogs. There's people who sit there all day, dog barking in the back of their ear, 10, 15 feet away from them. They just tune it out. I don't understand how it's possible. Are you and I even the same species of creature? Have you had your eardrums surgically removed? Because how do you not find it to be this intensely disquieting sound that makes your skin crawl and makes you want to go somewhere else and run far, far away till you can't hear it anymore? But people just tolerate it. Maybe I'm in the minority. Who knows? I feel like you have to be lobotomized to not find a problem with it. They have to take a drill into your temple and fucking turn it on and swish it around in there for half an hour until you can actually stop being bothered by the noise. But what do I know? This is apparently most of the people in America. They're just fine with it. They're fine sitting through hours of continuous ear-piercing shrieking. You like that? Should I make an ASMR channel where I just shriek in your ear for 2 hours? Because apparently people find it therapeutic. They ain't got a problem with it, at least. It's calming. It's natural. This is supposed to be what the environment around us sounds like. Emp, you're being so unreasonable to have a problem with these cute and cuddly creatures who just so happen to make noise that sounds like you're stabbing your eardrums with a hot knife. Like, honestly, does no one realize this shit but me? God damn, man, we truly do live in a society. And if you happen to be listening to barking on a daily basis, I hope it's coming from me complaining, because that should be the only acceptable barking allowed in this civilization. Well, anyway, now that I've wasted an hour and my vocal cords are all shot, I guess it's time to return home and try to record that audio for the new video that's definitely coming out soon. So, folks, I guess the moral of the story here is that if you leave your unattended, noisy dog outside for hours, you ain't nothing but a piece of shit.